Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good day to you. And that's depending where you are in the world. It's our nighttime devotion. The devotional is called Conflict and Courage. The title today, Looking at Christ. Looking at the Christ. Second Corinthians 3:18. But we all, with open face, beholding as in a glass the glory of the Lord, are changed into the same image from glory to glory, even as by the Spirit of the Lord. In the midst of a life of active labor, Enoch steadfastly maintained his communion with God. The greater and more pressing his labors, the more constant and earnest were his prayers. He continued to exclude himself at certain periods from all society. After remaining for a time among the people, laboring to benefit them by instruction and example, he would withdraw to spend a season in solitude, hungering and thirsting for that divine knowledge which God alone can impart. Communing thus with God, Enoch came more and more to reflect the divine image. His face was radiant with a holy light, even the light that shineth in the face of Jesus. As he came forth from these divine communings, even the ungodly beheld with awe the impress of heaven upon his countenance. Enoch kept the Lord ever before him. He made Christ his constant companion. He was in the world, performed his duties to the world, but he was ever under the influence of Jesus. He reflected Christ's character, exhibiting the same qualities of goodness, mercy, tender compassion, sympathy, forbearance, meekness, humility, and love. His association with the Christ day by day transformed him into the image of him with whom he was so intimately connected. Day by day, he was growing away from his own way into Christ's way, the heavenly, the divine in his thoughts and feelings. If we keep the Lord ever before us, allowing our hearts to go out in thanksgiving and praise to him, we shall have a continual freshness in our religious life. Our prayers will take the form of a conversation with God as we would talk with a friend. He will speak his mysteries to us personally. Often there will come to us a sweet, joyful sense of the presence of Jesus. Often our hearts will burn within us as he draws nigh to commune with us as he did with Enoch. When this is in truth the experience of the Christian, there is seen in his life a simplicity, a humility, meekness, lowliness of heart that show to all with whom he associates that he has been with Jesus and learned of him. Looking at the Christ. So Enoch, who was translated, who did not see death because God took him, his face was radiant with a holy light, even the light that shineth on the face of Jesus. Now, that's the same as when Moses spent all the 40 days up in the mountain communing with God. When Moses came down from the mountain, he spent so much time with God, his face shone with God's glory, and the people could not behold him. They could not look upon him because of the brightness. And they had to cover it. They had to put a veil over his face. Enoch's face was radiant with the holy light that came from God. Even the ungodly beheld with awe the impress of heaven upon his countenance. Much like Moses, his face shone with God's glory. Because he spent time with him, he became closer to him. His association with the Christ day by day transformed him into the image of him, with whom he was so intimately connected. Day by day, he was growing away from his own way and more into Christ's way. And that I always pray that I can die to self and fulfill my potential that God has for me. I always pray that he would give me the strength so I would live my life as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to him. And I think the more I pray this, the harder it gets. But when we experience being a true Christian, our life is more simple. We have more humility, more meekness, more lowliness of heart, which means pride and ego have no room in our lives. And we show to all with whom we associate that we have been and we are with Jesus, and we are learning from him. And this is what I would pray for all of us, that we can pray, we can learn, and we can commune with our Father, like Adam did in the garden, like Enoch did, as Moses did, and as Jesus does. We should pray for that every day.